Hey gang, and welcome to another Animal Crossing video. I'm Crossing Channel, and there are so many great new features to enjoy every single day in Animal Crossing New Horizons since the 2.0 update. There are a lot of new things to try, however there are some things that you definitely don't want to do as well. Thanks to a data mine from Asteration, which I'll link in the description, we know some of the more minute workings and details of these new major features in Animal Crossing New Horizons. So I'll be taking a look at some things that you don't want to do with these new 2.0 features. So we all know that there are two different sets of rewards that you can enjoy with Brewster in Animal Crossing New Horizons. The first is the Nook Mile achievement that you can get for visiting him and getting a coffee, and the other one are the rewards that you get for visiting him consecutively. However, it turns out there's actually a way that you can slightly mess up this neat little system. This is due to backwards time traveling, and as Asteration described, this means that backwards time travel will desynchronize the two counters. The two counters are, of course, the counting of the Nook Mile achievement and then how many days you've done for getting the rewards from Brewster. They mention that coffee obtained before backwards time travel in one day will not be counted for getting gifts. It says that, for example, if you stay on one day, get coffee, then time travel back to the start of the hour and repeat this 50 times, ending with one final backwards time travel, you will get the Brewster Nook Mile achievement, but none of the coffees that you bought will count towards you getting gifts. As you can see, I've managed to desynchronize my own counter, so even though I just got the reward for doing 40 visits to the roost, my counter shows that I've actually had coffee 42 times. I know this sounds very confusing and it's a super technical thing, but the gist of it is that backwards time travel will desynchronize these two different counters. A lot of people are probably using the Nook Mile achievement in order to see how close they are to getting a reward. It could be off if you're someone who time travels a lot, so it's definitely something to keep in mind. Before we continue, I want to talk about today's sponsor. You know all about it, it's Raid Shadow Legends. Use my links down in the description to download Raid for yourself on your mobile phone or PC. The newest boss just released in Raid and it's the biggest and craziest yet. This thing is a Hydra with multiple heads, and each one is a complete boss battle all on its own. Let's see exactly what we're up against. The Head of Blight is all about poison. It poisons you, it leeches you, and it protects itself with a poison cloud, which makes it pretty hard to hit. Fortunately, you can kill it with fire. HP burn deals extra damage to this head, and it also helps counter the poison cloud. The Head of Torment is terrifying, constantly applying true fear on you. The only way to stop it is by hiding your champions with veil buffs, which aren't easy to get your hands on. The other four, well, let's just say they involve mischief, wrath, decay, and even suffering too. You have to play Raid for yourself to experience them in-game and see what makes this boss tick. What I love about Raid is that it's become such an iconic game which basically everyone has heard about, but you still might not have tried it for yourself yet, and you definitely should. Raid's also giving away a super limited edition champion to every player in the game. It's esports legend and Navi superstar Simple. Simple is available for free to both new and old players in Raid. All you have to do is log in for 7 days between now and January 28th and he's yours. There's seriously never been a better time to get started. Hit the link in the description or scan my QR code and you'll get an epic champion Tayrel, 200k silver, 1 energy refill and 1 EXP boost, and 1 ancient shard so you can summon awesome champions as soon as you get in game. Thanks again to Raid for sponsoring this video. This next one is all about Cap'n and his mystery islands, and the advice here is don't go hunting for rare Cap'n islands if you haven't progressed very far in the game. As the datamine says, if the date that the rare island type has never happened since you created your character, as measured by current game time, you cannot go to that rare island and instead will roll for a normal island. Now, if you don't know what a rare island is for Cap'n, these basically involve the different seasonal islands, such as the Cherry Blossom Island, the Spring Bamboo Island, the Summer Shells Island, you get it. As the example says here, if you created your character on the 16th of July in the Northern Hemisphere, since the date for the Seashell Island type is August 31st in the Northern Hemisphere, you cannot get sent to Seashell Islands unless your game time is after the 31st of August. This is definitely really useful to know, as I'm sure a lot of people have restarted their island since the 2.0 version, or maybe have just started playing the game in general, and they may not have progressed enough to have unlocked all of these different types of islands that you can possibly see with Cap'n. That means that you could waste a ton of Nook miles hunting for them, trying to find them, and you simply can't do it. So this is another case of something that you shouldn't do until you've unlocked all of them. Now, in terms of keeping track of which ones you've unlocked, the game doesn't really show you this. This is something kind of hidden behind the scenes in the code of the game, so you'd have to keep track yourself. But just use the logic that was applied in the example, and it shouldn't be too difficult to figure out. This next one is about Katarina, and as we all know, the 2.0 update introduced a new luck mechanic, and this of course involves bad luck as well. The don't here happens to be don't go to Katarina if you have less than 10,000 bells in your pocket for a total of 11,000 bells including her first consultation. This is because Katarina's bad luck purification will cost you 10,000 bells, and if you don't have the funds for it, the option for this will not appear at all. Sometimes getting bad luck in Animal Crossing can really affect your day. Bad fortunes can do things like make your tools break faster, food will provide you less energy, you can trip, certain islands will be locked like the Gold Nookmile Island, and you'll only be sent to a normal Cap'n Island with clay instead of gyroids as well. So although this is a more specific thing, and I realize a lot of players are always going to have more than 10,000 bells when they go to see Katarina, it's definitely something that could potentially happen, even if it's by mistake. You may not want to suffer through the bad luck, but unfortunately you'll have to if you don't have the funds, as the purification option will just not appear for you, and then bad things can definitely happen. Still though, sometimes the bad luck can actually be useful if you want to get certain achievements like breaking your tools, so I guess it really depends on what type of player you are and what you want out of the day in Animal Crossing New Horizons. This next one is related to island ordinances, and basically, don't get the beautiful island ordinance if you need to get weeds. This particular ordinance will halve how weeds spread, and the maximum number of weeds growing on your island will be halved as well. This means that if you're trying to meet certain achievements in the game, you might struggle a lot more than you would have previously. Now again, this feels like it's more for a specific player. I know this won't apply to everyone. For plenty of us, we have no use for weeds, so maybe you'll like the beautiful island ordinance, but honestly, out of all of them, this one doesn't seem that great to me personally. It certainly does feel like a bit of a downgrade from the one in Animal Crossing New Leaf. Personally, I use the Bell Boom one, but I could see the benefits to having the time-related ones as well. I just think this beautiful island one could get in the way more than it could be helpful. Weeds can definitely be useful in more ways than one in Animal Crossing New Horizons, whether it comes to achievements or crafting or just selling them for bells. They're definitely really great to have your hands on, so you may want to consider that when you're choosing your island ordinance, and you may want to consider just how useful you think this ordinance could be for your island in particular. So this last one is much more subjective, but it's something that I had to mention in this video. Wisp was updated in version 2.0 and improved drastically when it comes to its option of choosing something that you don't currently have. Now Wisp can basically pull you any item that you don't have cataloged, which is really fantastic. That basically means that any other option from Wisp would not be nearly as useful as this one. Therefore, my recommendation would be don't choose any other option than something you don't currently have, especially if you do want to complete your catalog. Wisp is one of those features that I feel like a lot of people honestly forgot about, but trust me, you should be talking to him and playing his little mini game if you want to catalog more items, since he will basically give you something you don't have every time, provided you haven't already cataloged every single item, and if you have, then wow, I guess you just don't need Wisp at all. Still, it's great to see him updated, and it's nice to know that he can really help you out now, and he's much more useful than he was previously. But what are your thoughts? Do you have any advice for other Animal Crossing players that you'd like to give down in the description? Maybe there are other things that I didn't touch upon in this video that should be shared around. It's important to remember that probably a lot of new players have joined us over the holiday season, so this advice could definitely be really useful. If you enjoyed the video, then be sure to leave a like to support the content. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and turn on those channel notifications, and if you made it to the end, be sure to comment Bob's Gang down below. Don't forget to download Raid using my link down in the description as well. I want to give a big thanks to these channel members for their continued support of me and what I do here on this channel. If you want to become a channel member, click the join button down below the video or the link in the description to learn more. You can get a whole bunch of cool perks like exclusive emojis, a badge by your name, access to our members only Discord and our members only podcast too.